Good morning, giving honor to God. For those of you that may not know me, my name is Keith Gray. I'm a lieutenant with the Dothan Police Department. Just a few months ago, I made an application for position of police chief. Shortly thereafter, I received notice that I failed to meet the basic qualifications as advertised. So, I am no longer a candidate for the position. I would like to share with the Commission why that is so, but first, I would like to express my compassion for seeking justice for all, which is why my calling was to be a law enforcement officer. When I was a student at Northview High School, I was recruited by the Dothan Police Department through its Junior Police Explorers and Cadets program, and my parents approved me to take part in a ride-along program, which allowed me to ride with police patrols and learn various aspects of police procedure. Upon graduation, I received a Fine Arts Scholarship from George Wallace College. I joined the Police Auxiliary and then was hired as a jail security officer in February of '85. I was promoted to police officer 6 months later and was promoted to police corporal October of '86, where my duties were to train newly trained police officers. I was promoted to sergeant in 1990 and was assigned to the Narcotics Division, where I worked as an investigator as well as an undercover operations officer in reference to buying illegal drugs. As a sergeant, I worked in the Dothan Police Detention Division, where I supervised the warden, jail staff, and prisoners. In 1992, I was transferred to the Criminal Investigations Division, where I investigated violent crimes such as kidnappings, murders, rapes, robberies, and etc. During this time, I was attending both Wallace College and Troy University in Dothan, where I received my degree in criminal justice. At this time, I requested through our department that I be sent to forensic hypnosis school in Huntsville, Texas, but I was told that the police department did not have the funds to send me. On my own, I financed this trip and received my certification as a forensic hypnosis, and I have used it with the Dothan Police Department as well as other departments. In 1999, former Police Chief John White transferred me to the Administrative Investigative Division, better known as Internal Affairs Division. Here, I attended polygraph examiner school as an internal affairs investigator, and I was instrumental in writing the polygraph policy as well as the internal affairs policy. Pre-employment polygraphs and criminal investigation polygraphs were just a part of my duties. Additionally, I investigated all allegations of police misconduct. I received the President's List honors with a 3.8 GPA at Troy University. In addition, I taught in the criminal justice curriculum part-time as an adjunct professor. In the year 2005, I was an assistant patrol commander where I supervised a patrol shift until I was promoted to patrol commander at the rank of lieutenant in 2006. In addition to these duties, former Chief Powell appointed me to the position of administrative liaison to the Chief of Police in order that I may provide oversight over the bomb squad. A few months later, he appointed me as the commander of the Bomb and Hazardous Devices Unit and sent me to the FBI Hazardous Devices Executive Management School and Redstone Arsenal at the military base in Huntsville. In this capacity, I ensure that bomb squad personnel safely and properly renders an explosive device safe within the city of Dothan and Homeland Security Region 2. I'm currently a student pilot and the tactical flight officer for the Dothan Police Department. I use tactical skills as an aircrew member and assist pilots with flight operations as well as flying rotary and fixed-wing aircraft. I am presently a member of the United States Air Force Auxiliary, where I'm training to be a mission scanner. I've been employed with the Dothan Police Department for 24 years, 9 months. However, my total law enforcement affiliation encompasses over 29 years. I, too, have many training certificates. I have too many training certificates to mention in this brief time that I have left. If you could bear with me, I'll just be a few more minutes. I currently meet all qualifications that the City of Dothan has used for hiring police chiefs, according to the job description. However, after I expressed to a city official an issue I had regarding with what seemed to be an improper employment practice, my application was denied. The denial was due to a recent and sudden change in the qualifications for the position of police chief. In order for you to comprehend completely, we must go back to the year 2004 when the city was attempting to fill a vacancy for police chief. Back then, I also applied for for the position of police chief. However, I only held the rank of sergeant. After the date had expired to submit applications, a city official announced publicly that he wanted the new police chief to have FBI National Academy experience. This was a new qualification that had not been advertised on the job announcement, and I felt that it was unfair to many applicants. My feelings at that time was that the position was being tailor-made for a specific candidate. Shortly thereafter, the police chief was selected, and he had been a special agent with the FBI for several years prior to his appointment. After a few months ago, the city found itself looking for another police chief. Prior to the job description being posted, I expressed concerns with an ex-commissioner about these issues I just mentioned, in that additional qualifications had been added after all applications had been accepted. I was encouraged to voice my concerns with the new personnel director. I immediately called the personnel director, and he agreed to see me that same day. We met in his office, and I expressed my concerns with him. He ensured me that the process would be fair and that the city manager had not yet approached him about the job description for the position of police chief. I told him that fairness is all that I was seeking. Additionally, I told him that I had no problems being able to compete for the position. Further, I advised him that I did not make an issue publicly about the untimely additional qualifications. However, if this practice continued, I would. Approximately 4 days later, after this conversation, the current job description was posted, and the issue about the FBI National Academy experience had resurfaced. There are now two distinct changes to the current police chief's job announcement. The first is the FBI National Academy certification, which has been added as a preferred qualification, when in the past, a master's level degree was the only preferred listed qualification. In addition, changes had been made that an applicant currently has to have a minimum of 5 years of recent law enforcement experience at the senior level management, instead of the 3 years that all previous police chiefs had to have. Those of us that applied for the position within the police department met all qualifications that had been used for hiring in the past, with me being the only employee that had a master's degree. But no longer do I qualify, only due to the recent changes that were made. I had a minimum of 3 years as a lieutenant that was required, but I do not have the 5 years experience that is now required. I cannot be convinced that the city official involved in the job description process did not know that my application would be eliminated from consideration for this job. Just this past Sunday, my pastor, Hart Ramsey, made a statement to our congregation during his teachings. He said, and I quote, "Just because it's written doesn't mean it's right." The Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance has asked me to express their concern as to why the selection process was changed during this selection process and had not been changed on previous selections. I am well aware that the city officials are within their rights to change the job descriptions and of its employees. However, there is a wide diversity of individuals who are also questioning this sudden change. In closing, I am reminded of an incident that occurred just a few months ago where I was on duty and was confronted by several Caucasian individuals. One of them asked me who did I feel was going to be the next police chief, and I replied, quote, "I am." All of them began to laugh hysterically. In an attempt to appeal to them and convince them that I was serious, they could not hear my appeal due to their continued laughter. I felt that by their reactions, they could not even fathom an African American being the police chief of Dothan, Alabama. This incident reminds me of a similar conversation I had several weeks ago with a coworker who asked me who I felt would be the next police chief. I again replied, "I am."